You brought up spectrum, so we have to go there.
Yeah.
Talking about spectrum, we had an incentive auction. For most folks, they didn't realize that there was a lot of consolidation when it comes down to the ban of spectrum used for free over-the-air TV stations. A lot of every market was affected, but the urban markets in particular. And I want to talk to you how that relates to media ownership, which is if I have any agenda, I want to see more diverse ownership. I think it's common sense as America diversifies, we should have more voices. But the urban markets, we're talking New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, they lost virtually all of their minority owners pretty much as a result of the incentive auction. So what, if anything, can the commission do about this? Because it's a serious issue where the largest Chinese station in San Francisco sold their spectrum. The largest Chinese station in Los Angeles turned off their newscasts. Korean-owned station in New York, Indian-owned station in New York sold their spectrum, not to mention many, many other markets. Are you aware of this issue, and what can be done to fix it?
We are aware. I mean, as you know, Congress required the FCC to conduct an incentive auction back in 2012, and the auction was finished largely during the previous administration. And so now our goal is twofold going forward. One is to make sure that that transition process is a smooth one, that the broadcasters that chose to exit the marketplace are treated fairly and reimbursed appropriately. But the other one is a more forward-thinking one. And I share your vision of a diverse marketplace. I think it's not important not just for the programming, but also for the ownership to better reflect the nature of the America that we live in. And that's part of the reason why in 2017, I rechartered an advisory committee on diversity and digital empowerment. That diversity committee had lapsed under my predecessor, unfortunately. But it's important to me for the FCC to plant the flag, so to speak, in favor of broadcast diversity. And one of the specific charges I gave them was think about strategies for promoting more diverse broadcast ownership. It's traditionally been one of the gateways for minority and women popular communities to enter into the communications sector, and we want to make sure it continues to be so. But it's a challenging environment, as you know better than most. It's very capital intensive, very labor intensive. The marketplace is more diverse than ever before in terms of the competitive options. Young people especially are turning not just to broadcasts, but to podcasts and gaming and YouTube and all the rest. And so you've got to figure out a way to differentiate yourself. And if you're a young struggling entrepreneur, we recognize that it's harder than ever. But we want to do everything we can to help do that. And in fact, tomorrow, March 7th, we'll be holding a broadcast diversity workshop aimed at making sure that we let young people know of color, women and others, this is a marketplace we want you to participate in. Stand up and be counted when it comes time to enter the broadcast business, because we think it is a vital industry for years to come.
Now, this broadcast advisory group, they focus primarily on radio from what I've seen. Is there an initiative for television, which I think is very influential, and certainly everyone's watching video now?
Definitely there is. In fact, this workshop tomorrow is going to be keynoted by Kristen Welker, who is a longtime correspondent, a White House correspondent, and she has been a pioneer on broadcast diversity. We're going to be focusing a lot on TV as well, and so I want to make sure that the TV side of the equation isn't left out. And at least when I travel around to broadcast stations, one of the great things I've seen is that in terms of the people who are behind the camera and in front of the camera, it's more and more reflecting the marketplace that we're in. We want to make sure that translates also to the ownership side too, and that's one of the things we're going to be trying to focus on. Encouraging more people to network, connect those with financial expertise with those who need it, and hopefully we'll be able to see some of those synergies bear fruit in the years to come.
Well, let's certainly hope so, because I know the numbers are pretty paltry as it stands right now.